So moving on, reality shows of today and how they're impacting politics. Have you heard about Caitlyn Jenner trying to run for?
Oh, dude.
Is it governor of California?
Yeah, governor of California, and I heard that she got called a bunch of slurs and booed off the stage at some Republican event, which
Yes, CPAC Dallas, which is not in California.
Oh man!
She probably should have stuck with CPAC California.
Yeah, or just not.
Maybe one of their sections.
Like, don't even go to Texas, lady. Holy shit.
He'll more likely just die like 20 years from now, like Rush Limbaugh did.
I don't know. I think he's got a little. To his credit, I think he has a little bit more self-control than Rush Limbaugh. I think Rush Limbaugh.
No.
Rush Limbaugh died as he lived, a squealing, snorting, fucking pig man who, just gobbled up all the painkillers he could find. Like that's. It's like. I could see Alex Jones dying in the exact same way as Rush Limbaugh. Like, I could see that. But Tucker, it seems like he's more he keeps his voice at an even tone, right?
Alex Jones is Bill Hicks.
Alex Jones is not Bill Hicks because Bill Hicks made made sense, right? His any of the parts of Bill Hicks that sounded like Alex Jones, like Bill Hicks couldn't live with himself if he became Alex Jones, right? Bill Hicks would be so sad.
One part of his brain died, but the rest of him survived.
Yeah, if the socialist part died, and the and what was left was just like the frogs and
the Texas man.
Yeah.
I'm the man from Texas.
Nice.
Breaking news.
Oh boy, breaking news.
Get into character.
I'm in character, you motherfucker.
Breaking news.
Breaking fucking news. I'll tell you the fucking breaking news, you. What's
poll.
the news? New poll.
New poll reveals Americans happier than ever as
what?
Trump claims Biden has brought U.S. to brink of ruin.
What? Happier than ever? I broke character. I'm sorry. A new poll suggests that Americans are happier than ever.
Let me ask you two questions.
In what universe could that be true?
Okay. So you're saying that Americans are not happier than ever?
Not at all.
Now let me ask you this: do you think that do you think that Biden has brought the U.S. to the brink of ruin?
I mean, who's to say? That's a little more open-ended, I would say. As the breaking news character that I'm now coming back into, I would say that the first part is absolutely ludicrous. Americans are happier than ever. Which ones? Point me to the happy Americans. And number two, I mean, I guess they're happy in the sense that they don't have to pay attention to this fucking, this balloon-shaped orange monstrosity anymore. That's true. I guess that's true in that sense. Because the second part where Biden has brought us to the brink of whatever it was, what? Biden's brought us to the brink of where? Where are we?
Ruin.
Ruin. Biden has brought us to the brink of ruin. Yes, yes. It was purely him and only him. It couldn't have been anything that has led up to this for, I don't know, say the past 60 fucking years. I mean, in the sense...
This is from The Independent.
Oh, The
The
Independent.
former president, Trump, headlining at the weekend-long national conference, sounded off against the president amid ongoing political pressure regarding the southern border. Quote, "Who would have thought this could have happened? Even Bernie Sanders is saying, I never thought this would happen," Mr. Trump said in reference to the progressive Vermont senator. The former president continued, "He's mild by comparison. In a matter of mere months, Biden has brought our country to the brink of ruin." That leads actually into what's apparently there's protests going on in Cuba right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, and a lot of people are like I saw on Reddit, I was just like looking at like there's two types of responses. There was one type that was like, well, hey, what are they protesting about? Like, what's going on? And like, what are the things that led to this and all this? And there was responses that kind of like explain those things. And then there was the other half of the posts or reply posts were all anti-communist, like obvious, just fucking anti-communist. Like, I don't know if they're. I'm sure some of them are real people, but a lot of them must have been some just fucking bots or just like, paid like by some conservative groups or some shit. I don't know who, but you could tell there was just like this really hardcore, like all of these replies were just ignoring the actual facts about why they're protesting right now. And they would just be like, it's communism, 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 communism.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, I'm sure if you asked, like polled the people out there protesting right now, how many of you are protesting communism right now? Like, I would say maybe, and I'm just guessing, but I would say probably like maybe 50% of them would say yes, but I would say it's much more than that.
It's got to be, when I saw that, I had like two knee-jerk thoughts. One was, I'm sure that everyone in the capitalist superstructure right? Like anyone who's like, see, right? Like there's going to be a whole lot of that, right? Because especially in America, right? The neocons and fucking the capitalists in America have been waiting for this. They're like, oh yes, right? And they're jacking off, and they're like, yes, the oh, it's gonna be over, yes, and that's like to be expected. But the others, but I bet, right, that there is a healthy amount of Cubans, right, that are protesting, that are like, look, sure, right? I'll protest communism. I want stuff, right? Like I'm sick of having like draconian fucking trade relations and being cut off from the rest of the world, and not, it's like the things that capitalism is doing just because Cuba is quote unquote communist, right? Like they're not protesting like universal health care. They're not protesting like the fact that their doctors are awesome. They're not protesting any of that shit. They're protesting the fact that they are not allowed to do anything because they're communist, and the specter is like around their small island nation, and they're not allowed to trade with anybody, and they're, whatever. They can't fucking get fucking, whatever. Like when Trump left, one of the last things he did was like put worse sanctions on Cuba, right?
Mhm.
And so you got to think that there's a lot of people in Cuba that are like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care anymore, right? I'm done with ideology. I'm not. It doesn't matter. It's pure materials, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can break it down like there's people who can't get vaccines because there's embargoes or whatever that are blocking the ability for them to get syringes. It's like they have plenty of their own vaccine. They created a vaccine and
right.
approved it right around the same time as like a lot of these other vaccines were.
Yes.
But they just don't have the syringes. It's just stupid shit like that they just don't have like the infrastructure to build right away because they can't do everything.
Because of trade embargoes that are based in the fact that they're called communist. Like they could just do. It's like, what they should do is be like, hey, you know what? Like we're Europe now, right? We're just Europeans.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like who cares?
The Vietnam model was probably the best thing that they could do. And honestly, it's a similar, very, very similar type of thing. It's a Marxist-Leninist based government. But Vietnam opened up more to the kind of like capitalist global trade faster than Cuba has. And I fully understand Cuba's, desire, or the Cuban government's desire to not do that. But, because it's giving in to capitalism, of course.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like you have to kind of do what's best for the people. And in this world that we're currently in, Vietnam has figured out how to do a kind of, a socialist society where they are open to trade and like,
socialism for us, right? Like that should, and which I totally get it, right? I totally get that if the Cubans were like, look, dude, like, let's keep the socialism for us, right? But let's fucking just call it like it's the. I've become a big fan of the call it something else model of politics.
Well,
just call it something else so that you can give a superficial victory to the whatever. It's like to the Americans, right? Like Cuba's like, okay, hey, guess what? We're fucking market socialists now. Look at us, and then that way it would give a superficial victory to the Americans. The Americans would be like, okay, we'll send syringes now because, clearly you guys want to play ball, right? And meanwhile, they don't really have to play ball that much.
It's just, ridiculous to me that they wouldn't just send the shit. It's these. God damn it! It's fucked up. It's so fucked
it is.
Like the fucking countries that we don't help out are the ones that accept socialism, communism, or you know, fight against the fucking war crimes that the U.S. and Israel do all the
Right.
time. Like those are the thing. Like that. Like those are the only countries that we are like, you know, they're bad. You know, everybody else is fine. Whatever crimes they want to commit, human rights abuses, all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I don't care. But if you're communist, oh, we're fucking no cutting off trade. It's like, dude, are we still in fucking 1956 or whatever? Like, can we not
Yes.
move on from that shit? No,
Yes, we are. We're
yeah,
in 1956.
yes.
Joe Biden was 46 years old in 1956.
He's like,
Like,
hey man, I'm the youngest president that's ever been in. I'm the blackest guy.
yeah.
Hey Jack, I'm white.
Listen,
I'm the whitest Jack. I'm the
listen, Jack.
blackest. I'm what?
I was
What?
I
What was the question, Jack?
when I was listen when I was 47 years old in 1952. That was the golden age for Cuba.
I heard one recently. I can't remember how long ago this video was taken. It might have been during the primaries for all I know, but it was like he was like, 180 years ago, I was elected to the Senate.
I mean,
and it was you guys who put me there. So
yeah. It was all of y'all who weren't born. Pompeo tweeted a thing that was like just like, if we start teaching that, you know, the founders of this country were you know, like racists, you know, like whatever, you know, if we start teaching the reality of the founding of this country, then that will undermine American values, right? That was the gist of it, right? And Jamal Bowman underneath that was like, well, if we don't teach that, then then that is going to ensure that we continue to do that, right? Like, it's like, you know, if we don't teach that these people were like, you know, because and Pompeo, like, he did the thing where it's like, now they were flawed people, you know, but it will undermine the American values. And his thing was like, well, if we don't teach why they were flawed, then we're gonna keep being a country full of rapists, racist, white supremacists. You know, like, it's like, and it's like the thing that I want. I'm very surprised that reporters don't scream this at them, right? Whenever they say this shit about American values, right? It's like, what are the values? What are the American values? What are they? Tell me what they are. Tell me what the traditional American values that will be undermined by teaching the fact that these people were slave-holding, hypocrite racists. Tell me which ones of those values are going to be undermined. Please, please tell me. right? Because all I can see is like it's a bunch. It's like a like an older white person going, they're going to undermine our American values, and then there's a bunch of fucking blue-haired, psychopathic old people nodding and going, yes, they will undermine our values. And it's like, well, what the fuck are your values, dude? What are they? But yeah, I mean,
well, anyways, there's new drama in the left sphere, the left YouTube world or whatever. Have you heard about this new thing between Jimmy Dore and TYT?
What? No one will shut up about it.
Yeah.
So there's that, right? That's the part that I like. And I can't remember who was saying this, but whoever said this was absolutely right. And it's that no one is coming out of this well, right? It's like between Jimmy Dore and TYT, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of problems, and a lot of problems in both camps of this. And so it's unbelievable that you would pick a fight between each other like this to just basically like have both like you're both going to destroy each other, right? This is not, because it's like whatever, like all the things that have come out are like that what Jimmy Dore like sexually is a sexual harasser and he doesn't give a shit, which
right.
As a comic, as the shitty comic that Jimmy Dore is, which I will cop to, that was always the main thing I didn't like about him, is that he's a shitty comic. He sucks as a comic, and so his takes and shit are informed by that chip on your shoulder that you have to have if you're a shitty comic who's going to make it past open micer status, right? He just has a chip on his shoulder. He's annoying. It's not that I disagree with him about everything, because frankly, like I thought the squad was going to be like better or whatever. Like there's some shit that he says where I'm like, yeah, all right, that kind of makes sense. It's like, but I hate you personally, right? It's just I just don't like him as a human. And then on the TYT side, it's like I've always found them to be kind of annoying too, right? I like Jank is like a kind of blowhardish sort of, he gives me like Bill Maher vibes, right? Where it's like, would you look at that? These guys, they're just stupid and they don't know what they're doing. Like, and it's like, like you're the reason why people hate us, right? Like it's that shit like that where it's like, look at how much better I am, and it's like, just fuck off.
Come on.
Oh, dude. Real quick before we move on.
Okay.
I watched a thing on HBO that was a 45-minute long, like, CNN special about the January 6th riot stuff. And it gave me a couple thoughts, and I feel like this is important.
It was the HBO thing?
It's on HBO Max. Is CNN is one of their networks that it falls under.
Of course.
So it has caused me to watch a lot of centrist lib CNN shit, because it's like, what are they doing over there?
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing over there? I want to see. You know, I'm almost giddy with, like, whenever I see a new one, right? Because it's like, oh Jesus, what is this? But the January 6th stuff, just a couple things. Number one, there is such good video of inside of the Capitol while that shit was going on, that part of me a small part of me thinks that it is some kind of conspiracy where, like, these people were let in to be like sacrificial lambs for this, to like try to end the Trump movement. And if that's the case, then bravo, you did a good job. Like, straight up, like only a couple people died. You had to shoot that fucking lunatic woman, and then whatever. Like, you only lose a couple more, but meanwhile you just like put the stake in the heart of like Q and all that shit. Fantastic, wonderful, bravo. Jewish state media or whatever the fuck you want to call them. But the other thing is how, like, it's the fact that there was such good footage of inside the Capitol means that these fucking morons, these maskless insurrectionist white men roaming around the halls of the Capitol, yelling their slogans and talking their shit, right? Like, saw that they were being filmed. You had to see it, even if it was just an iPhone, right? Someone is pointing it at you and like holding it very still, and even if they were zoomed in from another location, it's still like it's right there, man. If you cover your face, you're supposed to do that right now anyway. What the fuck? Like, it's so stupid that it honestly seems conspiratorial, right? Like, that's what's making me feel like it's a conspiracy, because it's like, these people have to be the dumbest human beings that have ever lived, right? They are fucking, at worst, they are lower middle class, which means they can afford their fucking souped up trucks to come to this fucking thing, right? And then they storm the Hall of Power, faces uncovered, right? With their IDs in their pockets,